Hey everybody, Matt Barton here, your principal broker with this week's Broker Minute or Two. Hey, I wanted to share this graph with you. Many of you that have been to sales meetings that I've conducted have seen this over the past year. I consider it my graph of love because I have to manually enter this data, but I think it's important, right? I started tracking this data back on March 1st of 2022 and keying in this data. And what it shows briefly is the number of price decreases, red, versus price increases, green. And so you can see in March, this area over here, people were still optimistic in 2022. And then rate increases and other things happening, an election cycle, got people a little nervous, and the number of price decreases because inventory wasn't moving, which also has a correlation to higher pricing. Pretty soon people are like, well, I can't buy anymore. And as a result, the market in general started a rapid number of price decreases. So here it is in a nutshell. You look at this, the highest point in one day, and this is when inventory was about 8,000 properties available. 527 properties decreased the price in one day. And then for a prolonged about 6 month period of time, the average was 225 to 250 per day. Let's just use 200 as our basis. That means in a week, 1,400 of the listings of 8,000 reduced their price in 1 week. In 2 weeks, 2,800. In 4 weeks, pretty much the entire inventory had reduced price. And that is for a very prolonged time to see that number of decreases. This is where you can see the shift in the market, right? And what it really means in real terms. And then, of course, we come into November and December. And of course, there's always a seasonality, good market, bad market. There's always a tail off. But I think with that, on the heels of 6 months of decreases, pretty much that is coming to a rapid slowdown, if not stop, to where now we're averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of 75 per day in decreases. All right, there's another graph I wanted to show with you that is related to this. This is out of utahrealestate.com and allows you to, it's the daily snapshot report, and it shows you inventory for the current year you're in versus the year prior. So if you look, our data is January 17th of 2023. And the good news is our inventory is almost 4 times what it was a year ago. The thing to pay attention to is the lack of new inventory coming on the market, right? So you can see that between a year ago, when inventory was essentially 9,000 or closing in on 10,000, is 4 times as much. And we dropped a total of 500 properties, right, from last year to the end of the last year. But in the most current year, 2022, we went from 9,371 to 7,500, so almost 2,000. So we're not getting a lot of new inventory in the market currently. Now, things change dynamically, but as a general rule, with all the other things going on, we know what's happening. And so this is my counsel, advice, plea to you is right now, where builders make up somewhere between 35 and 40% of our inventory, a lot of them are sitting on a glut of spec homes because of people that backed out of contracts. My advice to you is your next 6 months is the time to really make hay. If you do, your 2023 will be set up. But the problem is talking with several builders, and one in particular in great detail who does the most transactions in the state. They went from February last year to the end of last year. They had 6 spec homes in February. They now have 320 spec homes, and they're not unique. Most builders have some version of that. And when you ask them if they're replenishing behind that, largely the answer is no. They need to get that stuff off the books until they'll even consider starting new projects. So if you connect the dots, there's this amount of inventory that represents a big chunk of our current inventory that sellers want to get off the books. And when they get off the books, that inventory is largely not being replaced. And it's about the same time that rates are supposed to improve by a half, 3/4, maybe even a full point. So do the math. If you're in the middle of the summer next year and a lot of the inventory's gone away and interest rates have improved, there's magically going to be a lot more demand with a lot less inventory. So my point is, make hay now. Don't wait. Don't do what your peers are doing. Just go, well, I'm kind of waiting for the market to improve. Your lenders are willing to do no cost refis for people to buy now. You get a lot more concessions from sellers, especially builders buying down rates and paying closing costs. So if you're representing buyers, make sure you're articulating some of these things so that not only do they benefit, but you as a realtor, your business benefits by being straightforward and informed in talking with your clients. All right. I hope you have a great rest of today and January. And if we can ever be of help, please reach out to us as your brokers. Thanks a lot.